Hi, this is Anthony Smith, retired Special Warfare boat operator. I'm having a conversation with retired one officer, SWCC one officer Ryan Renner, and we're discussing SWCC traumatic brain injury and orthopedic injuries and some of the things that he experienced in the military. And here's Ryan Renner.
This is Ryan Renner. I did 26 years in the Navy, 22 of them as a Special Warfare combatant craft crewman. Virtually every type of craft, coastal craft we had, I've ridden and done deployments on.
Interview number 4 was conducted over Facebook video. Ryan answered questions from the following questionnaire formats and gave permission to produce the information and share it openly. We went over the operator syndrome questionnaire, the GAD-7 questionnaire, PLC-5 questionnaire, PHQ-9 questionnaire, NSI questionnaire, and then a SWCC background questionnaire. Ryan was in the United States Navy for 26 years. He spent 22 years as a SWCC operator. He was in class 14 and graduated in 1995. He did 6 SWCC deployments to conventional type, and then probably about another 12 or 18 months of smaller little 1-2 month things. So probably about 8 deployments total. He served at SBU 12, SBT 12, Spec War Center as an instructor, Group 4, and then at SBT 20. He worked on 24-foot ribs, 11-meter ribs, Mark V Sea Lions, and he was also in the MCATS program. He did roughly 24,000 hours on SWCC fast boats, and there's an estimated 2 million significant weight pounding impacts causing whiplash and possible mTBI and microconcussions. Navy SWCC is a special class of elite naval warriors who have been a decisive force behind some of America's most important secret missions. Special boat operations have unique and often deadly challenges due to the combination of operating powerful, sophisticated machines designed for speed and stealth in some of the planet's most inhospitable environments. The average SWCC operator experiences mTBI and major orthopedic injuries over the course of their career. In peacetime and war, Naval Special Warfare conducts missions in over 70 countries, 365 days a year. The sum of SWCC injury does not accumulate until the operator retires. It's important to mention operator syndrome because it's connected to every SWCC operator and every SOF person for that matter. There is a nexus of operator syndrome for Special Warfare boat operators, and you're going to see that nexus of symptoms as we kind of go through this. And quickly, operator syndrome was termed by Dr. Christopher Frew. There's a DOI link to the literature if you want to grab it and read it if you haven't seen it. Operator syndrome is a nexus of psychiatric illnesses and disorders along with chronic orthopedic injuries. Every SOF operator group across every branch of the military has to contend with operator syndrome and the nexus of symptoms that does include Special Warfare boat operators. Ryan has several of the symptoms that are related to operator syndrome. He has been diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury, endocrine dysfunction. He has obstructive sleep apnea. He uses a CPAP machine. He has chronic joint pain, back pain, orthopedic problems, and headaches. He has PTSD, war rumination and stress reactivity, problems with sexual health and intimacy, being on guard and hypervigilant, memory, concentration, and cognitive impairments, vestibular issues, and challenges of the transition from the military to civilian life. So comorbidities due to SWCC boat operations. Ryan went to NICO and they diagnosed a lot of the TBI symptoms, a lot of the PTSD symptoms. He has endocrine dysfunction diagnosis for sleep apnea. He has headaches and migraines, chronic pain and headaches, hypervigilancy, memory loss, concentration, decision-making issues, hearing issues, and dizziness. Ryan also suffers from mental fatigue, C-spine and T-spine injuries, moderate sensitivity to noise, hearing problems, numbness in some of his extremities, some executive function issues, and mild ED. These are symptoms experienced while operating high-speed SWCC boats. Ryan said that he had fatigue due to weight pounding, dizziness due to weight pounding, experienced blackouts due to weight pounding, experienced whiplash due to weight pounding, confusion, lack of focus, concentration due to weight pounding, experienced whole body weight pounding and whiplash at speeds of 65 miles an hour. He experienced weight pounding in the seas 10 feet and greater. He experienced orthopedic injuries due to wave pounding on SWCC boats, knee injuries, shoulder injuries, back injuries, and just like the rest of us, he frequently urinated blood. Traumatic brain injury in reference to Chief Warrant Officer retired Ryan Renner. The average SWCC logs about 3,000 hours of boat time per deployment cycle. Roche's 94 study conducted underway studies on NSW fast boats for a period of 6 days, accumulating 36 hours of underway time, and which they measured 8,610 wave impacts ranging from 2 to 25 Gs during that time frame. Of the 8,610 wave impacts, 4,496 impacts ranged above 5 Gs. Those 4,496 5G or greater impacts in 36 hours equals roughly 124 significant whiplash events per hour. The average SWCC operator endures roughly 124 significant whiplash events in 1 hour of operating fast boats. The average SWCC operator possibly endures 374,000 plus significant G-force impacts from wave pounding on SWCC boats in one deployment cycle. So if you look at Ryan's time on the boats and you multiply that number by at least 8, he has 2.9 million significant full body impacts while slamming, wave slamming on fast boats, SWCC boats, causing disastrous long-term effects of chronic orthopedic injury, whiplash, mTBI, and other issues. All right, summary of operator syndrome, symptoms for Chief Warrant Officer retired Ryan Renner. Etologically speaking, Ryan is a 51-year-old retired SWCC operator as of this year, 2023, with 22 years of SWCC boat service, 8+ SWCC deployments cycles, including 24,000 hours of SWCC boat time, causing over 2.9 million significant full body impacts while wave pounding on SWCC boats. Ryan has over 10+ symptoms of mTBI and a nexus of operator syndrome symptoms. Ryan stated he endured whiplash, wave pounding at significant G-forces, urinated blood, and experienced blackouts from full body wave pounding exposure. Ryan stated he went to NICO in 2016 and was diagnosed with TBI PTSD symptoms, which impede his quality of life. Long-term effects of mTBI and major orthopedic injuries are debilitating for SWCC operators like Ryan. Ryan has a 100% disability rating and was fortunate to be evaluated by NICO while on active duty. One major issue this research demonstrates is many older retired SWCC operators exhibit TBI symptoms but have no diagnosis or treatment. I have talked to several recently retired SWCC operators in the past year, many who were able to be evaluated and treated for TBI and PTSD at NICO. Special Warfare Group 4 coordinates the current SWCC TBI assessment program, and they have a large database with the data on recently diagnosed SWCC operators. The SWCC brain MRI data shows significant brain injury collectively. As these interviews continue, I will interview many more SWCC operators who have been through TBI assessments on active duty, such as NICO, Intrepid Spirit, and Home Base. I believe there will be enough to prove SWC TBI is a real significant issue. Consequently, all the interviews with SWC operators who have long been retired will continue to prove the long-term effects are significant over longer periods of time post-trauma, and there is a major gap in research as the retired guys in their late 50s and early 60s have no diagnosis or ratings, although they have many symptoms and debilitating injuries. This entire research project is an ongoing project that will probably last longer than the next year. I will draw conclusions from every presentation, and over time I'm sure they will change. So the conclusions from this project thus far is 100% of SWC operators interviewed so far have traumatic brain injury. 100% of SWC operators interviewed so far experience full body weight pounding, whiplash, and orthopedic injury from SWC boat operations. 100% of SWC operators interviewed so far still lack VA ratings for service-connected injuries.